Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be all about how I made this delicious lasagna. This is my favorite lasagna recipe. I will have it linked down below. It uses a cream sauce instead of ricotta cheese, and it's super delicious and rich and so flavorful. I'm going to start by making the red sauce in the slow cooker, and I used everything you see here plus 2 cans of petite diced tomatoes. Now I did pretty much triple this recipe, so in the recipe below you'll see that it uses a lot less measurements than this, but I wanted to have some in my freezer since I'm about to have a baby, and I just like having meals on hand that are super easy just to throw in the oven. But you're essentially just going to dump everything in the crock pot. You can do this on the stove and simmer it. You can cook your meat first and add the meat flavor to the sauce if you wanted to. My meat was not thawed at this point, so I wanted to go ahead and get the sauce going. This was the morning that I made it, and I just let it cook in the slow cooker all day so all those flavors could really meld together and be really delicious. In addition to the spices I showed before, I did add about a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of sugar, and then a little bit of baking soda to kind of even out the acidity in the tomato sauce because it makes it a lot easier on your tummy. And this was just chunkier than I want it to be, so I did add my immersion blender down and just blend everything up and get it nice and smooth before I put the lid on and let it cook all day. Now a few hours later, I'm going to go ahead and cook my meat. I'm using ground venison. You can use ground beef or sausage or whatever you like to have in your lasagna. I'm just going to season that with pretty much the same seasonings I used in the sauce: garlic powder, onion powder, and a little bit of Italian seasoning. I did add some salt to it as well, and I'm just going to keep cooking it until everything is cooked all the way through. Again, I'm tripling this recipe, so this is 3 pounds of meat. But if you're just making one, you can use 1 pound of meat, or if you like your sauce meatier, you can add extra meat. This is really easy and versatile to kind of make your own. So just do whatever you and your family like. Once the meat is finished cooking, you can drain it if there's a lot of grease, but I'm going to go ahead and add some cut up pepperonis to my sauce. I really love adding pepperonis to spaghetti sauce. I think it gives it such good flavor. But since there wasn't a lot of grease in my meat, there was just some water left over from the way the meat was processed. I'm just going to drain it kind of the best I can and put it directly into the sauce. And then I'm going to stir everything together, make sure it's all mixed really well. And then I'm going to put the lid back on and let it cook for a few more hours until I'm ready to assemble everything. And once I'm ready to assemble, I'm going to go ahead and make the white sauce. All the measurements will be in the recipe below, but you just melt butter, add some flour, and then add some milk and spices and let it thicken. And that's essentially your white sauce for your lasagna.
Maybe in another life we could have worked it out, but we got too close to the sun. Maybe in another life we could have worked it out, but we got too close to the sun. When all is said and done. When all is said and done.
And once your sauce is thickened, it's time to put these bad boys together. And I'm going to start by spraying my pan, then adding a really thin layer of the spaghetti marinara sauce, whatever you want to call it. Then I'm going to add down my noodles. I'm using the no boil noodles, and I just think it's a lot easier to work with, and they always turn out really, really good. They're the oven ready lasagna noodles, and I put 3 down. The recipe says to use 4, but it was just easier to put 3. As I go on, I do add some broken ones to fill in the gaps, but you're going to layer your noodles and then your sauce, and then you're going to do your white sauce and cheese. And just alternating, you're going to end up doing about 3 layers, but I'm not going to talk all the way through it because it's pretty self-explanatory.
was out drinking, looking for the next thing. I couldn't.
And once it's done, I'm just going to put it in a 350-degree oven for about an hour is how long I let this one cook. And then I'm just going to keep assembling my other two.
Maybe then you came around. Yeah, you came around. No, I won't ever let you down. I promise you that I hold on. I know that it gets tough sometimes, so I'm here to.
And this is how it looks straight out of the oven with all its gooey, cheesy goodness. You do want to let this sit for about 15 to 20 minutes just for it to kind of sit up. If you cut into it too soon, it's just way too soft and it'll fall apart. But these are how the uncooked ones ended up turning out. I mean, that looks pretty good if you ask me. But I did end up cutting into this one and it did kind of fall apart. But I mean, it still tastes real good. You can still kind of see the layers. But when you have sauce and cheese, like that's going to fall apart a little bit. But when I tell you this is my favorite lasagna to make, I really truly mean it. It's so delicious and everyone I've ever made it for really loves it. It goes great with a side of like bread, like garlic bread or something, and a salad. And it's just so good. So to put these in the freezer, I just spray a piece of aluminum foil and then put the aluminum foil right on top of the lasagna. I do not cook them first. I just put them in there raw. And you can write on the foil how long you want to cook it for. I personally like to just like print out a thing of what to do and tape it to the top if I'm giving it to somebody. If not, I know how to reheat these. And I'm also going to save half of this one that I cooked tonight. We had about a quarter of it and then we had another quarter of it left over for lunches or whatever. We really get tired of eating the same thing though. So I'm going to freeze this half pan and I'm just going to wrap it straight in foil. And then whenever I go to cook it, I'm going to take it out of the foil and put it in a casserole dish and cover that. And all the directions of how to reheat it and stuff will be in the recipe below. But I just wanted to show you how I saved it. I really hope you enjoyed this recipe. Please give it a thumbs up. I have a whole playlist of cooking videos if you're interested. And please subscribe for more videos like this. And I'll see you in my next one. Thanks. Bye.